What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a good Friday so far. TGIF. Hopefully, you guys got a good weekend planned. Personally, I'm a little bit under the weather, or at least I'm feeling that way. Everybody in the household has been coming down with a little bit of a cold. So, my apologies for the raspy voice. But yeah, in this video here, we're going to be talking about the brand new Path of Power. So, this is He-Man's event. We do have a Sacred Shard event right now. It's going to be 2x boosted rates for Sacreds, and it's going to be a 10x on He-Man. If you don't want the 10x on He-Man, just wait 2 days, and then you'll have a naked 2x Sacred Shard event. This is the best rate for Sacred Shards, but the event is absolutely totally skippable because there's no guarantee that you're going to get He-Man, and there's no guarantee you're going to get anything from this 12%. And you're not getting credit towards really anything other than this hero's path. So Path of Power. So I believe we had the same thing last year with He-Man when He-Man was available. But let's take a look at this Path of Power. How are we going to get points for this? It is going to be through getting artifacts and accessories, so basically dungeon divers, and getting points from shards. So basically pretty standard point distribution here for the shards, and the energy for the divers portion of it. It's about 1.75 points per energy for hard 10 approximately. So you guys can keep that in mind if you guys want to total up your points. But considering it's a 2x Sacred Shard event, and to complete these path events using Sacred Shards is probably the best use of them. We'll talk mainly in terms of Sacred Shards. Let's check out this Hero's Path here. Is there anything super worthwhile? You're not going to get crazy rewards in the low tiers. You're going to need a key to unlock these avatars. So we got 2 avatars here. We got one for Skeletor and one for He-Man. These are basically recycled frames from the previous or the first iteration of the collab. So unfortunately, not too exciting, but it does give people a chance to pick up some of this cosmetic stuff if you guys missed He-Man the first go around. And then moving down the path, it looks like both sides of this path is identical in terms of points. It's whichever item you value the most. And then at the very end of this path, we see Moral Soul Stones, we see Essences, Immortal Soul Stones, and then we got a big Soul Stone down here. And then the main prize is going to be He-Man's 5-star split. So the best thing about this is that you can actually build up his soul all the way from 1 star all the way up to 5-star, which is amazing. So it does give us a little bit of flexibility on where we want to stop, or if you're short on resources, it does let you walk away with some value. All right, so let's check out the full path and let's break down what the paths will cost. All right, I managed to put the whole path on a single image, and I just realized it's He-Man's sword. So it's pretty cool. I mean, they were conscious enough to make it into He-Man's sword. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Not the most convenient in terms of looking at it from a single image because it's so small. So I apologize for that, but hey, it's He-Man's sword. All right, so first things first, let's map out the cheapest kind of reward that I think people might actually go for, which is going to be one of the avatars. You guys get the choice here between the left or the right, the Skeletor or the He-Man. But this is going to be how you're going to want to do it. You're going to have to go down the middle to get the first key, and then you're going to open the lock and then pick up the avatar, and it's going to cost you 17,500 points, which is just under 4 Sacred Shards. Now, each Sacred Shard is worth about 2,500 energy on hard 10. So if you guys have energy, you guys can save a couple Sacred Shards by using energy. It's also a 3-day event, so you should be able to at least knock off 1 Sacred Shard if you guys are just consistently active in the game for the next 3 days. Now, is that really worth it for you? Cosmetics are cosmetics. They're just things to chase in the game. There's also a 2x Sacred Shard, like I said, so you guys might be pulling Sacred Shards. Although I kind of recommend just holding on to those resources because you're not going to be guaranteed anything from those Sacred Shards. And it's kind of better to just save those Sacred Shards for like events that offer you some kind of guarantee return, such as a fusion or a guaranteed champion event, for example. But in this case, you're pulling Sacred Shards for cosmetic, and that's totally up to you. Now, the second option I think that most people would go for if they're participating in this event is obviously to go down for He-Man's soul. Now, the other question would be, which soul would you end up going for, the 4-star or the 5-star? He-Man doesn't require accuracy in his kit, so accuracy and resistance from the 5-star is not super important. But if you're running something like Lightning Cage, the 5-star blessing bonus is very nice because it offers you the additional protection to protect the buffs. So it really depends how much you value that part. But if you're going down for He-Man's soul, you're going to hug the right hand side. So you're going to skip everything in the middle. You're not going to get the avatar and stuff like that. And then you're going to come down this side and then go all the way down to He-Man's 5-star soul. Okay, guys? All right, so hugging down the right-hand side, if you're going all the way to the 5-star, it's going to cost you 82,500 points, which is the equivalent of 18.3 Sacred Shards. Again, if you're active for 3 days, you could probably knock off 1 Sacred Shard just using energy from Advanced Quest and regeneration energy. So about 17 Sacred Shards for a 5-star soul for He-Man. Definitely expensive, considering that most recently we've been getting souls priced around 15 Sacred Shards. So in this case, total cost of 18 Sacred Shards for He-Man. Yeah, like I said, it's quite expensive. Perhaps it's some kind of tax for having a 2x Sacred Shard event on, I guess. But still, it doesn't look very attractive. Now, if you guys wanted to perhaps save some cost, right? If you want to, you guys wanted to forego the 5-star soul, so you guys are saving 35,000 points, you guys can definitely chop that off here and just settle for the 4-star soul. The 4-star soul is very reasonable for He-Man because he is a damage dealer and he'll benefit off of the crit damage. He also will benefit off of the attack and HP stats that come with the 1-star and 2-star blessings. So the 4-star will give you the most value in terms of overall stats, and it's a pretty big cost saving here, giving you a total cost of 47,500 points for the 4-star. Is a total cost of just about 10.5 Sacred Shards. So 10.5 Sacred Shards for effectively, all the power up you need for He-Man is not too bad. If you're, fully invested in He-Man, and would probably be the route I would take if you wanted to get the soul for He-Man. And then the last path here would be the pink path. You go down to the long part of the path, or the widest part of the path, and then you go down the far left-hand side here, and then you collect the big rock down at the bottom. The total cost for the big rock is 85,000 points, which is just under 19 Sacred Shards. For example, if you had this reward at the end of Summon Rush events, which cost 20 Sacred Shards worth of points to complete, I think most people would probably go for it because there's not always available. But some of the rewards you're getting along the way is not really worthwhile because usually in those big Summon Rush events, you're going to pick up at least, like a mythical book, maybe two legendary books, for example. So that might be more valuable to you than, a couple of these, the lower essences. Obviously, the big essence and the big stones are very highly sought after and way more valuable. But yeah, so for 19 Sacred Shards, you're not really getting too much. You're just really focusing on the big rock there. I think it's quite expensive. I don't really recommend that route. This route is basically for somebody that has He-Man, has his soul, and just has Sacred Shards to burn. And that's not going to be a lot of players. So I would definitely not recommend going down this route. So there you guys have it. A bunch of the routes and the breakdowns here. If I had He-Man, personally, I don't have He-Man. If I had He-Man, I would look towards his 4-star soul, and that's only if I was planning to use He-Man a little bit more often. If I had extra resources to spend, if you have energy, like I said, about 2,500 energy can shave you off 1 Sacred Shard. We're all but guaranteed to be able to at least shave off 1 just using regular energy from our daily quests and our regeneration energy. So I would look towards the 4-star soul for He-Man. So 10.5 Sacred Shards. But yeah, like I said, only if I was intending to use him on some more regular basis. But as it is, I don't have He-Man, and I do not intend on pulling shards this weekend at all, not even for the 2x boosted Sacred Shard event. Like I said, the 2x boosted events, they come on a rotation. So if you guys skip this 2x Sacred Shard event, you guys will get it back in approximately 6 weeks. Not to mention that we have this brand new Web of Corruption campaign event happening probably pretty soon. Keep an eye out for all the teaser info videos on those that event. But I would definitely save for that Web of Corruption event. There's going to be lots of new champions, lots of events, and yeah, I think He-Man's time in the sun has passed, at least for raid. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informative. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, what you guys are planning to do. Appreciate you guys watching until the end. Have a great weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.